Okay, this is just a quick little video on what I think is a very, very interesting, unusual air rifle. Up to now, as you know, my air gun videos have been mainly about replica air pistols and rifles and, you know, a couple of Daisy BB guns. But this is well, for want of a better word, a proper air rifle. Now, these days, air rifles come in all shapes and forms, but probably still one of the most common and popular is the spring-powered air rifle, or Springer. And this is, in fact, a Springer. But spring-powered air rifles also come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. You can get, perhaps again, the most common is the break barrel, where the barrel breaks at the breech and you use the barrel as a lever to compress the spring. But you also get underlevers, where the barrel is fixed and there is a lever underneath the barrel and you use that to compress the spring. Then there are side levers, where you use the side lever to compress the spring. Like I said, there's quite a variation on Springers. This one is none of those. That's what kind of makes it a bit unique. So what is it? Well, it's a Browning Airstar 200. These were made in Belgium by a company called Rutten. So although it's labelled Browning, it was actually made by a Belgian company. And they were made in the very late 1980s through to the early 1990s. And there was only about 800 of these made. So it's, you know, it's quite a rare gun. I'll close in on it and I'll pan down the length of the gun, because otherwise we're obviously not going to get it all in close up. Yeah, very, very nice wooden stock. It's got a couple of marks on the stock, but I was not really going to complain about that. The telescopic sight is a modern fast mount Hawk scope. The original sights sadly weren't with it, but I'll put some pictures up of those. So you can see what the original sights were. There we go. Very nice gun. So I've just put it in my gun vise briefly to show you the breech, and then we'll turn it upside down and I'll show you how it all works. Now the Browning Airstar is a 177 caliber, and this is the breech here. And basically this just flips up like that. There's a little shoe there, and you drop the pellet lengthwise into this slot here, and then you close the breech, and that's it. It's as simple as that. It's actually quite an easy gun to load. Right, gun is now upside down in the gun vise, and we'll close in on the bottom of the buttstock and the trigger area. Yes, buttons and switches. The Browning is in fact an electric air rifle. Now, yes, it uses a spring to generate the air pressure, but the cocking mechanism is a gearbox and a motor. So to operate this, you turn the on and off switch to on. This is the charging port here. Okay, then behind the trigger there is a button. You press this once, and I'm going to move the mic close to this because this thing makes a racket. There you go. So the rifle is now cocked. As you probably gathered from that noise, this would not make a very good hunting rifle. Because by the time this thing is finished going through that cycle, then whatever you were trying to shoot would have run away, basically. So, but it is interesting, and I will show you some. I've managed to find a photograph on the internet of the gearbox assembly, and I'll put that up in a minute. But you get a red LED comes on under the bottom of the buttstock. This tells you that the gun is cocked, okay? But you cannot fire it. The trigger is locked at this stage. There is a mechanical solenoid lock on it. In order to fire the gun, you then have to press the button again, and a red LED illuminates, which is on the other side of the trigger assembly. So give me a minute, I'll turn this around so you can see the LED. So there you can see the red LED for showing it's cocked. There you can see the red LED showing it's ready to fire. When you're ready to fire, it will now fire when you press the trigger. There you go. So it is a very interesting and unusual rifle. Now, as you probably guessed, the motor and gearbox assembly is under this plastic shroud here. And basically you've got a motor, and then I think there's 4 stages of gearing down before there is a bevel gear and a pinion, crown wheel rather, and there's literally like a bit of motorcycle chain which goes between 2 sprockets, which is actually what compresses the spring. I'll throw a picture up of that now. And here's a quick shot of the other side. The battery, as you probably have also guessed, is housed in the wooden buttstock here. This is the original Browning battery pack. Look at that. Now that's NiCad, because it's from the early 1990s. So that still works, but it doesn't really hold its charge for very long. So I've replaced that with a 7.2 volt. I've replaced that with the equivalent nickel metal hydride battery, which is fantastic, and I've only had it charged up once, and I've put, I don't know, 100 pellets through it, something like that. It is superb, and of course that also means I can still use the original charger, or the original charger which came with it is fine for charging the nickel metal hydride battery. Power wise, well, I haven't really had a chance to put it over the chronograph yet, but having fired it quite a lot, I'd be guessing not much, probably 6 to 7 foot-pounds, something like that. But it's not really, I'm not bothered about that. It's very accurate, having set the scope up. I'm lucky enough to be able to shoot at my friend's house, and he's got a nice long driveway, so we've got a 22 metre-ish range, and it's fine over that distance. I just like it because it's an interesting rifle in its own right, because I've never seen another electric rifle, electrically cocked air rifle, so to me this is unusual. It's supremely well made. Rutten, the company in Belgium that make these, did an absolutely superb job on it. It's a really nice trigger which is adjustable. Yeah, so there you go. Browning Airstar 200 electrically cocked spring powered air rifle. Anyway, hope you found this interesting. As always, thanks for watching. Cheers.